fortunately for you, it won't be a video of my face. It won't be a shot of me. What it will be is it'll be a screen recording. So everything I do in class will be on the screen from my computer. So then everything gets recorded off the screen, and then the audio is my voice talking. So you have a full reproduction of class, and I'll post that. I'll post that on YouTube, and then I'll give you a link on Blackboard. Okay, that'll be like later in the day, so it won't be immediately after class. It takes some time to get it all uploaded. Okay, but you'll have a video of every class, and that will be important when things get trickier. And this course is going to feel a lot different than math courses you've had in the past. And for that reason, you may feel like, ooh, it's hard to take notes, okay? And so that's what the video is for. You go back and review it again, you can stop it and take good notes, okay? All right, so we are rolling. Let's go back to this. So, where were we? Okay. So web work, I'll show you that in a second. That's what we'll do online homework. Okay, recitation. So some of you have a recitation today after this class, and then some of you have it this next Wednesday. Okay, so today and Wednesday, everyone's going to go to this first recitation. So here is our recitation TA, Roy. Okay, he's fantastic. He's the greatest. Okay, so he knows his stuff, and he's going to be a resource for you both in the lecture and, of course, in recitation. Okay, and in his office hours. So today is mostly about finding the classroom, getting to know Roy a little bit. You won't stay there the whole time, okay? But attendance will be taken, so show up. And then the Wednesday, definitely go. It's going to be, we'll have some stuff under our belt, and if you have Wednesday recitation, you will stay the whole time, okay? There is a pretest. Okay, so there's been confusion about this in the past. The pretest is required for every single student. No matter how underqualified or overqualified you are for this course, doesn't matter. Everyone takes the pretest, okay? It will not change you out of this section, okay? It will not change anything about your enrollment. So here's when you take the pretest. You're going to go next week between Tuesday and Thursday to PSA 21. That's the basement of PSA. You're going to enter between 10:30 and 6:30. So you got a wide window of time to go take this. 3 days, 8 hours, okay? And then you can work until 8, all right? So they take the test at 8 p.m. You just got to be in the door by 6:30. All right, you need a sun card. Okay, you're going to need a valid sun card. And you don't want a calculator for this, and you're not going to study, okay? So no calculator, and just show up. So probably average would be 40 minutes. So some of you will be out of there a half hour. Some of you might take an hour, but probably not longer than an hour, okay? So required element, and then depending on your performance, I'll give you some bonus on exam 1. So the better you do, the more bonus you get on exam 1. So try, okay? So try. It won't switch you out of this course, but if you do really, really, really poorly, then I may recommend that you switch out or let you know that it's going to take a lot of extra work for you to succeed, okay? All right, so here's your checklist. So copy this stuff down. So copy down my email address. So I have this habit. It's like an addiction, okay? It's email. I've always got my email in front of me. So, not so great for me, but great for you because I can get back to you pretty fast. If you can't remember that, mark.ashbrook. So just my name, just like most of your email addresses, first.class will work too. But that's shorter. So that's the way to contact me. So just before you email me, just do a little research on Blackboard, on the syllabus. Lots of times your question is already answered. But don't hesitate to email me if you need something, okay? So, pre-calculus workbook. Again, that's the centerpiece of the course. Buy it, bring it to every class. Syllabus, download it, read it. We'll go over it quickly on Monday. All right? Web work, online homework, which I'll explain in a second. Find it, do it. First one will be due Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Recitation. Go to it. Okay? Make sure you go to the first recitation meeting. And then the pretest, take it. So I'll give you a second to jot all this down. And then we'll go to, I'll show you Blackboard and I'll show you web work. Any questions while we're waiting for people to copy stuff down? Yes, sir.
Is the other textbook you mentioned that would be extra money, is that mandatory? Like,
Yeah, we will have readings. So there are other, let me just say, there are lots of other details to the course that I'm not talking about today because they're else you'd be overwhelmed, okay? So these are just the essentials to get started. But that online text, I will be assigning readings in the online text.
Not the online text, the actual like textbook text.
It's the same thing.
Okay, good. So you
Yeah, it's the same thing. That physical textbook is totally optional because it's the same as the online text.
For the pretest, do you take a test between 10:30 and 6:30?
You show up between 10:30 and 6:30, and then you leave when you're done.
Okay.
It'll take you less than an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just open testing center. You just show up with your SUM card. They give you the test. When you're done, you turn it in and walk out.
Where is the PSA?
PSA is at the corner of Palmwalk and Tyler Mall. Palmwalk and Tyler Mall is where PSA is.
Will the pretest be graded?
It will be graded for some bonus for exam 1.
Alright.
So the better that you do on it, the more bonus you get on exam 1. But it's required. Like if you don't take it, you just won't get an exam 1 score. Okay?
So you want us to call you Mark?
If you want, if that's comfortable for you. Sure. Yeah. That's great. Any other questions?
So this book is inside of this?
Yeah, so on the front page is your activation code to get the online access. And the online access has the textbook, which is different than this. So you're going to bring the workbook to every class meeting. Great questions. Any more? Can I go on to something else? All right, so let's go to, let me show you web work. Okay, let's do Blackboard. So when you go to the Blackboard from MyASU, you go to our Blackboard site. I put an announcement on. It's got all the same stuff that I just had on the screen. You jot it down. So if you lose that, the dog eats it. It's all there on Blackboard. Okay. All right. So the syllabus is right here on the link at the left. So we'll go over that briefly, no longer than 10 minutes, but download that or print it out if you prefer. Course websites, talk about later. My office hours are on the syllabus. They're also right here. And we're still finalizing your office hours, right? So we'll let you know as soon as Roy's got his. We'll put those up here as well. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday late morning, Thursday early afternoon. Okay, so course websites. One of those, like I said, is WebWork. That's the online homework system. So when you get to WebWork, if you go to webwork.asu.edu, this is what you see. And you're going to click on Ashbrook for MAT 171. Okay, it'll ask you, if you're not logged in on your computer to ASU Right, to MyASU, then it'll ask you to log in. And then if you log in, if you make it successfully, this is what you'll see. Except after 3 p.m. today, so at 3 p.m. this first set will be released, you'll see the set, and it's called Quantities, due August 28th. Okay, you'll see a blue link right there after 3 p.m. today. So you'll just see that one, okay? You'll just see that one link right there. And when you click on that link, you'll see the problems. Okay? You have 5 attempts per problem. Okay? That's to make you stop and think. If you get to 3 and 4 and you're still not getting it right, stop. Get help. Okay? I want you to get the credit. All right? But it's not, we don't want this to be just an endless guessing exercise where you're not thinking. So that's why you have limited attempts. But help is available. So if you're getting to the 3rd and 4th attempt and you're still not getting it right, then something's wrong. By that time, it's probably not just, oh, the next one I'll get it. You have a deficiency. You need to get that straightened out. So here's how you should get help. So here's, say, problem 5. At the bottom of every problem page is, at the very bottom, is email instructor button. Okay. When you click on that, you can write a message. This will be to me. I'll get it. So write it and be as detailed as you can as your difficulty in the problem. And then when you send it, then I get a link to your problem, because you're going to all have different problems. It's all randomized, the system. So you all have different problems. So it'll give me a link directly to your problem. It'll show me all your past attempts. And then I'll have your message to be able to help you with the problem, okay? So don't email me outside of the system. On the problem that you're having difficulty on, use that button at the bottom of the page, Email Instructor, okay? This first assignment will now only be, an actual assignment, but we'll be getting used to the system. That's why you're getting actually 5 attempts. Maybe some problems in the future you only get 3, okay, once we're accustomed to the system, okay? So there's probably questions about the web work here. So this is the one that will be revealed or released today at 3, due Wednesday morning. You'll be able to start it today, and you may be able to work ahead. There'll be stuff that we cover Monday also that's covered in this. Any questions on the online homework system? So just read carefully. Read the instructions really carefully in terms of answering answers.
Is each guess worth a percentage of the point, or is it?
No, if you get it 100% right on the 5th guess, you get 100% for the problem. And once you get, and so when you get the problem entirely right, every sub-question right, what you'll see is a green bar, okay? If you get the pink bar, that means at least one thing is wrong, and there will be a feedback table, okay? But if you get the green bar means 100% right. You don't have to do anything else. It's saved in the system. So once you get that green bar, it's all automated, saved. You don't have to email me. I got the green bar number 4. No, it's saved, okay? So we know, okay? It's all saved. There's nothing else you have to do. Other questions on web work? Yes, sir?
How do you assign problems with this? Is it like do problems 1 through 5 for Wednesday or something?
No, so this whole set is due Wednesday. So it's by set. So this Quantities due Wednesday 28th is actually 19 problems. Those are all due Wednesday morning, 8:30.
How do you get this?
Webwork.asu.edu. Let's see. So you can, there's multiple ways. At the Blackboard site, in announcements, it's right here on the announcements page, or you can go to course websites and just link to it. So in course websites, just right there, web work, just click on that. Yes, sir?
So you have to finish all the questions at once?
No, you can log in and out as many times as you want before now on 8:30. And there's I'm glad you mentioned that. There's an option to print it out first. So on this page, let's see, is it this page? Yeah. On this page here where all the problems are down here, download a PDF. So you can make a hard copy of it. You can work on it outside of the system, by writing, and then return, log in, and then take your answers from it. But yeah, log in and out as many times as you want before the due date. And then after that's due, answers are posted, and you still have full access to everything to study. And then the answers are posted.
So do you like us to show us your work? I mean, show you our work,
Not on this. So this is just going for right answers. But we will have written homework. I just haven't talked about that yet. Yeah. So written homework's another element of the course I don't want to overwhelm you with right now. So we'll just take one thing at a time. Other questions? But the answer is yes. You're going to show your work when you get to written homework. All right, let's see. Did I cover everything? So I showed you Blackboard. I showed you web work. Again, I gave you the checklist, and the checklist is also here on Blackboard announcements. Workbook, syllabus, web work, pretest. Those are the things you got to worry about now. Last chance for questions. That's my baby. 10 months old. Just over 10 months. Thank you. Okay, don't miss the details here. All about the shoes. Future ballers. And you got to get started early with your training. So she had this phase where she's just planked all the time. She's just planking. That's from May. That's from May. And that's from about a week or 2 ago. That's the most recent thing. Does she look like me? She's adopted. So we adopted her. And if you know of another potential adoption situation, talk to me. Let me know. Okay? All right. And also, I need an electric guitar player. So if you know an electric guitar player, you can talk to me also. Those are my shameless plugs. Okay. All right, so let's do some math. Okay, so it would not be incorrect to say that this whole course is a course about quantities. All right, so we better kind of lay the ground rules for what we mean by that. What do we mean by a quantity? Because this is really is a course about quantities, and especially changing quantities, okay? All right, so real-world situations involve what we're going to call objects. So you may have had math classes before where you did a lot of mechanical exercises, a lot of algebra, moving symbols, and then if there was time, then you might have gotten to an application problem of that. Anyone experienced that before? Like it was kind of like an afterthought. Like the application was kind of came at the end, if you had enough time to do it. But the main thing was just exercises, right? You're exercising this mechanical ability to do steps. Okay? So, but really mathematics is about modeling the real world. Okay, so you all know this, right? You're future engineers. And so really when we learn mathematics, we should start with a context and talk about what is the mathematics that models that context. Okay, so in this course, the application is going to be the beginning and the middle and the end. Okay, it's not going to be an afterthought. It's going to be the focus. All right. So objects. What are objects? This pen, my hair, me, the backpack, the car, right? The mountain, the tree. Anything in a real-world situation, we have these objects that are like kind of the focal point of the situation. Okay, and then those objects have what we're going to call attributes, characteristics. Here's my very up-to-date flip phone. Okay, I can text with it. Pretty cool. Okay, so what are some attributes of the phone? What are some attributes, characteristics of the phone? What's that? It's red, the color. The color is an attribute. What's another attribute of it? What's that? How much it weighs. Its weight. So the color, the weight, what other kinds of things? That it has a hinge, that it flips. It's a flip phone. Right? Those are cool. All right, what else? The length. What else? The service that I have it for, right? So these are all characteristics, okay? All characteristics. And we call those attributes. And now we're going to take these attributes and we're going to divide them into two categories. Anyone know how, so we talked about color, length, weight, the service that it is. You see how those are falling into two categories. Anyone? What do you think?
Things you can like see or visual.
Okay. What's that?
Operational and non-operational.
Operational, non-operational?
Concrete and abstract.
Concrete and abstract? Yes, that's what we're getting at. So some of those can be measured with a number, and we're going to call those attributes quantities. The measurable attribute of an object is a quantity. So which ones that were spoken out were quantities? The weight was a quantity. The length was a quantity. The volume was a quantity. What's not a quantity? Color. There's another one. The service that I have with it, right? Those are not quantities, but they're attributes. So when you hear the word quantity, you might think quantity means the number 6, or a value, right? It's 6, or it's 100, or it's -4. That's not what we mean by quantities. By quantity, we mean the characteristic that can be measured. Any characteristic can be measured. That's what we're going to mean by quantity. Okay, so it's the, like I said, the weight. So it's the quantity is not the number 8 ounces. All right, the quantity is the weight of it. That's what we're going to mean by quantity. So, quantities are measurable attributes of an object. That's what a quantity is. Okay, so here is a Dump truck. So the truck is an object, right, in the real world. So what I want you to do is don't start until I say go. Meet the person next to you, if you haven't already, and maybe take 10 seconds to talk about what you did this summer. No, don't start until I say go. Don't start. Take 10 seconds to talk about what you did this summer, and then kind of work on this together with the person that you meet. So you're going to name as many attributes of the truck as you can. All right, and then we'll just take, in a minute or two, we'll see what you came up with. So as many attributes of the truck as you can. Go. Okay, let's regroup. So let's regroup here. I'm going to just kind of call on you. So normally I'll have a list, and starting next week I'll have a list of your names, so I can call you by name, but I'm just going to do the point and shoot method. Okay, so how about here in the red shirt? Give me one that you came up with.
How many tires there are?
Number of tires. So this is we're just doing attributes, right? Any attributes of the truck.
And then the volumes of the, how much you can hold.
So he's saying how much it can hold. So it sounds like what you're saying is like the capacity of the loader. Is that what you mean? Is that a volume measurement?
Yes.
Is it the volume of the truck?
No.
Different quantity, right? So we could say volume of the truck, but that's two different quantities. They both are measured by volume, but they're actually two separate quantities. Capacity of the loader and the volume. You can also say the capacity of the gas tank. Another volume measurement, right? But it's still a third quantity. So somebody over here. Red shirt here. Weight of the truck. Other attributes of the truck. Yes, sir.
Pressure of the tires.
Air pressure in the tires. Someone in the back. Yeah.
Compression ratios in the engine.
Sounds like someone who knows something about cars. Mechanical engineering?
Yes.
Compression ratios of the engine. Yeah.
You said like maximum torque.
Max torque. What do all these attributes have in common? So therefore they are quantities. Anyone have a non-quantity attribute?
It's big. Quality.
Color. What else?
Manufacturer.
Yeah, make and model. Yeah, state the license plate is in.
How clean it is.
Yeah, it's cleanliness.
Gas.
What's that?
Type of gas.
Type of gas it uses, right? Those are all non-quantities. All right. So all these first ones were all quantities until we got to color, make, model, type of gas it uses, state that its license plate is in. Those are still attributes of the truck. They're not quantities, though, because they're not measurable attributes. Okay, so soil. So the soil on the bed, let's stick to quantities now. So just take 30 seconds, brainstorm. How many soil quantities can you think of? Go. 30 seconds. Okay. Let's regroup. Let's say the right knee. So right here. Yep. What'd you think of? Weight. Is it a quantity of the soil?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. How about this young lady here in the red shirt and below the clock? Yeah. Yeah. Did you think of another one? Or Farah next to, there's Farah, right? Right next to her. Do you think of one? No? Can't think of another one? Okay. Yes, sir.
Density?
Density of the soil. Good one. Yes, ma'am. Temperature of the soil. I like it. Yes, sir.
pH level,
pH, the acidity. Yes, sir.
Moisture content?
Moisture content. Okay, so good. Any others that you're dying to share? All right. So now quantities themselves can be changing or in a given context. So we kind of put a boundary around the context. Within that boundary, within that context, we say that quantities could remain the same, constant, or changing. So soil. So here we are, we're just looking at this, the truck is sitting there, and the soil is sitting there. What is a constant quantity in this situation? Density, okay? So it's just sitting there. Density is not going to change. What's another constant quantity of the soil? The weight. Yeah, so just in this static kind of situation, the weight is staying the same. What about a changing quantity in this? Temperature might be changing of the soil. Moisture content might be drying out.
If the truck is moving, some could fly off and be less slow.
Okay, so right, so we would need something else to happen for that to be a changing quantity. But what about let's just sit in here, just watching the truck. What could be changing? What else about the soil?
The velocity of it if the truck's running.
Okay.
How gravity affects rain, soil from the,
Okay, so it'll make this a little easier. Okay, so here we got the IMAX screen, so we'll watch a movie. Now, it's not going to be super exciting, but it'll be big. And slow.
How many hits does this have?
It's easy to find. You can go check. Okay, so one type of quantity that we have not talked about yet is now introduced when we watch the video. So what type of quantity is that? Very comfortable weight. Rate is the closest so far. And all those things are possible because of what quantity in the background? What? Time, right?
All right.
Okay. Time is a quantity. But if we look at that video and we just say the quantity of time, what do you think about that? Is it valid? We just say time. What's wrong with that? What's that? The agents? The age, okay. All right, so the point is that time is a quantity here, but it's just to say time has very little meaning because you need to be specific. What time quantity are you talking about? So I'm going to give you an example of 5 time quantities that are all possible in this situation, and they're all different. They're all time, but they're all different quantities. So let me show you. So we're talking about changing and constant quantities. All right, so we'll just put the time on pause for a second. A constant quantity retains the same measured value in the boundaries of the context. All right, so if we keep the context, we stay within the context, whether that's just a snapshot of the truck or this video that we watched. A constant quantity is something that always retains the same measured value. All right, and a changing quantity within the context can take on many different values. Makes sense, right? Nothing complicated there. So, related to the video, here's 5 different time quantities, and it's your job to figure out which are constant and which are changing. This is a little trickier than you might think. So when you get to one you're not sure about, go back to these definitions. Does the amount of time stay the same in the context, or does that amount of time, can it take on different values? Okay? So I want you to work with your partner, go through these 5. You're trying to figure out which ones are constant time quantities and which are changing time quantities. Go. Look at number 5. Time elapsed when the video begins, when the context starts. Because the amount of time, when I start that video, there's a point in time when that context starts to fill. That will never change. It's always going to be that long. Now, if you load the clock up again with a different amount of duration for another video, then it'll be different. But in the context of this video, that's constant. Okay, so if you're stuck, some of these are tricky. If you're stuck, go back to these questions. Is it an amount of time that never changes? Or is it a quantity of time that can take on 1 second, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds, 8 seconds? So I'll give you just 30 more seconds.
What is the actual context? Is the context just the video
This,
itself?
yes, this truck with that load of soil, and when that happens, right? So if we load up the soil again, a different amount of soil on that truck later, that's a new context. Does that make sense? So it's just what you watched. That's the context. Just what you watched. Okay. I'm going to start with number 5. Let's hear from somebody new. How about back row? How about raise your hand? What's your name? Yeah. Nicole? What do you think about number 5?
I thought it would be constant.
So what? Tell me your thinking about that.
Because the truck wasn't moving at all at the beginning.
Okay.
And later on it would start until
Okay.
backward.
Okay.
So I thought it would be constant because we made
What is constant about it? What is constant about it?
No matter how many times you play the video, it always is the same amount of time.
Yeah, if we replay this exact happening in the world by like replaying the video, does that amount of time change or is it constant? It's constant. It'll always take that same for that event. If we were to review it, it will always take the same amount of time. So let's go back up to number 1 now. Time elapsed since the soil first hits the ground. How about Free Aug? What's your name? What's it? Justin. What do you think about that? Changing quantity or constant quantity? Constant quantity. And what was your thinking on that? Okay. Okay. Did you already say? What do you think? So we said it's going to start falling out, and it'll always. What did you say again? It's going to fall and hit the ground at the same time. So the time elapsed since the soil first hits the ground is constant. Agreed? Disagree?
I'm going to say disagree because the one thing that can change is how long are you watching it after it started.
Okay. So the question is, can this take on different amounts of time? Can there be 1 second, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 8 seconds, or is it a certain amount of time that doesn't change? What do you think?
And then in the context of the video, all of these would be constant, right? Because no matter how many times you watch the video, they're always the same.
No,
Is that constant?
it depends on
Time elapsed since the soil hits the ground, right? And we start the clock. So can it be 1 second? This time quantity can be 1 second later? It can't be 1 second later after the soil hit the ground? Could it be 3 seconds later?
Yeah.
6 seconds? Yeah.
As I was talking to Roy about, the key word in these is total. So for like 3,
What?
the total time, that's, you cannot change that.
The word total is in number 5.
No, I know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that for those, an oftentimes varying factor is whether or not it's a total time or whether or not they just say time. Because the time you can edit, you can stop that clock. But with total time, there's no clock.
Okay, so but just watch out. We're never going to label a quantity time ever again because it's not specific. We could name 10 more time quantities related to this video. Got to be specific. So just saying time it has really very little meaning. So that's just kind of a side issue. But what you're saying is great. It's mostly correct. Okay, time elapsed for all the soil to be dumped. Constant or changing? Time elapsed for all the soil to be dumped. Constant. It's an amount of time that it took all the soil to be dumped from when it started being dumped to when it finished. Okay, total time the truck bed's moving. Constant. Time elapsed after the truck begins to pull forward. Can that take on many values of time? Can we be 1 second later? Can we be 1.5 seconds later? Can we be 6 seconds later? That's a changing quantity. So it's a little tricky. One big point here is, in this context, like I said, we could name 15 different time quantities. So just to say time is not acceptable because it's not specific. You've got to be specific about exactly what time quantity you're talking about. Okay, you got your checklist? 3 o'clock today. That assignment will be up. You can start working on it. Go to Recitation. Meet Roy today if you have Recitation.